Well, actually, it started with a bit of a misunderstanding. I was going to stream as soon as I saw this. So Fox News put this out, and Titan sent this to me, and I think he may have gotten it right away. I don't know if he thought it was funny at first. I thought this was hilarious. I thought this was absolutely hilarious, and I think the person who put this up on Twitter thought it was hilarious. And at first view, this is fucking funny. And I will get to the live chat in a minute. I haven't had a chance to say hi, but I'll put this in. And you sit there and say, "Wannabe Dictator Speaks." And I was just like, oh, wow, I can't believe Fox News actually pulled the trigger on that when it comes to Donald Trump. And it didn't cross my mind, like, at the White House. It's like, what is Trump doing at the White House? And if you look close, that's not the White House. Now, a lot of people couldn't tell the difference, but that's not the White House. And I know that's not the White House. It didn't cross. It's white. I wasn't paying attention. So like, they can't really be talking about Trump here. So this has been making some circles, and it's, really funny. And so I was just going to do a show. We were just going to go live, and I was going to breaking news. Fox tells the truth by accident, and we do shows like that sometimes. Just do it like 5. Just do it like a 2-minute show. We do this. Fox News called one right. It's the end of the world. The 7th seal has been broken. Everything's done. But as I was looking into it, because I was like, there's no way that can be real, right? And it's real. That's real. That's a real headline that aired not that long ago. In fact, what time did that air? Let's see. At 9. Oh, yeah. So that aired a decent. So so that aired about 3 hours ago. So it's real. And the Independent had it. And so I was like, okay, well, the Independent's not, it's real. But then what I discovered was they were talking about Biden. And I was just like, well, then wait a minute, if they were talking about Biden. And so here's what happened, just so you know. They put up a shot of Biden talking about, I don't know what I doubt about today's events. Didn't before airing, so I apologize. But they had a shot of Biden talking. And then they put up, "Wannabe Dictator Speaks at the White House after having his political rival arrested," which, by the way, is an extraordinarily serious fucking charge. Now, if it's Fox News talking about Trump, and again, I stopped at the "wannabe dictator." That's the part I thought was hilarious, right? So I was a bit of an idiot on this one. That's insane. And they started with the shot of Biden that you see on the left, and then this came out, and it was the Fox News alert. And then they showed Trump, and they showed both of them, but they left the tagline at the bottom, and then they switched to just a shot of Trump, but the tagline remained the same. So this was not intended to be Trump. This wasn't. So all of a sudden, I'm sitting there looking at that, and I know you had said this earlier, Xandring, and I was thinking about it, which was that, Rupert Murdoch seemed to admit that Fox had gone a little too far, and they had put the gas on a lot of things that they knew wasn't true, and they got rid of Tucker Carlson, which I thought was a bit of a mea culpa, and nobody expected them to ever go even to the center, right? I mean, it's like, I'm not an idiot. They're not going to go to the center. They're going to stay to the right. But I figured this kind of thing would stop. And in my view, and I would like very much to get your opinion, but in my view, and I will put it up one more time, and then we'll take it off the center console. That's about one of the most dangerous things they have ever said, and we're going to cover some other immediate implications from this, but and what that means is Fox News is still, in my view, putting the gas onto the right, and despite the fact that it's been a pretty successful day, there was no violence. There was, Trump was arraigned, and the process is proceeding, which it's supposed to be. And by the way, he's not going to be tried by Biden. He's going to be tried by a jury of his peers, and his lawyers are going to have a hand in that selection process. But all that notwithstanding, this was staggering. And so I thought that it would be appropriate for In Time to go on air and try to unpack this some. So, Xandring, what are your thoughts?
I guess it would be one thing if this was commentary opinion piece. This is on Fox News Live. They've got the little chyron there with the breaking news alert, saying "wannabe dictator." It's like, okay, well, isn't that an opinion? You certainly haven't really provided any evidence. And for a mainstream news outlet to start spouting opinion as though it's fact is particularly dangerous.
Well, and you've heard me say this, I am not a fan of Fox News. I am really not a fan, but I have always said, and I've said this repeatedly, they do actually have good reporting on Fox News, and they use Associated Press and they reference other. And if you go to the Fox News website and go to any of the actual news pages, what you will find there, and this is shocking, is real news. The problem is that really seems to be cover for what Fox News really does, which is punditry. And so when I say Fox News, nobody thinks of the actual news. They think of Tucker Carlson. They think of, Glenn Beck, Hannity, anyone else who either is now or has at some point been on Fox News, and what they say and do. The morning, the people who always meet in the morning, that's what people think of when they say Fox News. When I say CNN, the first thing you think of usually is Wolf Blitzer God, now I can see him, but I can't with the Anderson Cooper. And, both of those guys actually do news. So it's sort of like, but when you say Fox, you think of pundits. So, but I've always given Fox the credit that they are actually a decent news source if you're just looking at the content that is branded news and that is actually specifically news. And you have to know how to make that distinction. But the key thing is they've always known how to. That's how I know it's deliberate and cynical and disingenuous, because they're careful to make sure that you can tell the distinction if you're looking. Nobody's ever claimed that Tucker Carlson was a newsman, and that's deliberate. But this is the first time I've really seen them violate that wall, and which is essentially what you said. But for me, it's just like, I'm like, whoa, that's big. In my view, that's really big.
And it's a worrisome turn for discourse in the country as well. I mean, as discourse starts breaking down, we stop talking to each other. People start to balkanize even more. It's definitely not a path towards fixing things. It's another step down the path of tearing everything apart.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant, in my view, escalation of, and yeah, okay, I'm going from just a single. Let's be clear, I'm going from a very short clip. But if the news organization has ever, the actual news organization, the news wing of Fox News, which is like 1/10 of what the organization actually has in terms of size, has ever done something like this, I haven't seen it. And the problem is there are people who do listen to the news organization, people who know the difference and who trust the news organization. And now they've said this. They have essentially said that there's no distinction between Biden and Augusto Pinochet. And it's like, wow, that's quite a claim, and that is not going to lower tempers.